Alright guys, we are back, second series in a row here, and I have lost shorthand for this one. I have also not managed to pick up anybody else, which means it's going to be a solo, and I apologize for that. You're going to have to listen to my stupid voice for the next however long this series takes. And as you can see, we are slightly into the draft already, as I started it and then went to fix something else because I forgot about it, and then it kept going, but that's not that big a deal because, as usual, I'm going to have less to talk about because I don't have a co-caster to fill the time, and that means it's okay that I'm a little behind because I still have plenty of time to talk about what I want to talk about, which I'm not sure what that is yet. Anyway, bans are out. Cthulhu and Revenant, the first two bans for Labyrinth on Dawn's team, and Splock for Telechubbies will be banning out Swiftblade and Parasite. Revenant ban a little bit odd, as it does leave Tempest open, it leaves Rhapsody open, and it left Magmas open. So two of those three heroes we first picked by the respective Legion and Hellborn teams, and Ophelia going to be the second pick for the Legion side. So choosing to pass up that Tempest, and instead we'll go for Oph as their jungle player. Kraken going to be their third pick. So already off to a strong push start, and of course Kraken going to provide some ganking presence as a nice solo laner. Considering they're going to need two of those, always good to pick up one early. Especially considering that Bubbles is off the board, and so is Magnus. Both can be strong solo laners if they would like to be. And of course, Hellborn going to finish off their first three picks with the Sill. So going for a little bit more team fight oriented stuff. Eruption and Kelpfield, of course, more AoE abilities, and looking to take 5-on-5 engagements or 5-on-less engagements. The point is they want to be grouped up as a team, but so do Legion to some extent, of course, with their push strat that's coming out so far. Dance floor plus Ophelia creeps means that they'll be taking down towers relatively quickly, and Silhouette hoping to counter push a little bit, I guess, with the split, and wouldn't be surprised if that works out very well. Legion side realizing we've got all the support we need. They do not, so let's take out some of them. Torture, Empath, and Glacius, three bans that go through in quick succession for them. Always like to see a nice quick drafting phase when I'm solo capsing because I don't have as much to talk about when there isn't a pro player to tell me what an idiot I am. Anyway, Hellborn also removing some solo heroes because that makes sense. Legion side looking for at least one more of those. As it's possible that they could dual lane the Kraken Rhapsody, so they could look for two more solos if they want to, but I really wouldn't like to see that, especially because Kraken already is such a strong solo hero. So Flux and Hag getting taken out. Flux ban is actually kind of weird to me. I don't think he fits this team all that well. It would essentially force Kraken to run in the suicide lane, and that's fine. I don't think he's a great suicide hero, and the numbers do back that up a little bit, although the sample size is small enough that you can certainly argue either way. Moon Queen ban actually going to go through, and I feel kind of silly because I did point out in a previous series that that is a good combination with Kraken, and now they decided to ban the damn thing. After I said they would ban it, somebody else would ban it. But anyway, Moon Queen does combo well with Kraken, and obviously would go very well with Rhapsody in that bottom lane, and not going to be available to the Legion side any longer, so Probusk will be able to get his hands on that. Of course, Probusk did join this Dawn team for Cycle 3 in the Gold Division, and he was, of course, looking to get back up to Diamond, so this is the round of 16. I won't spoil anything in terms of what happened, and he may have made it, he may not have. I try not to do that, and I'm going to stop talking about it now. Anyway. And yes, I will say anyway a lot because it's a filler word that I use to transition between what I just said and to try to create space and time so I can think of what I'm going to say next. Because I talk reasonably quickly, which isn't always the best thing, but it also means that I have to think about stuff sometimes, because I don't take forever to get the ideas out. And when the Legion team takes as long as they are with making their next pick, it's awkward because I have nothing to say. Anyway, there you go. I did it again. Be prepared, people. It's going to happen a lot. Pick something, Legion team. Pick your carry. Pharaoh. Okay, good. Second. for a second solo laner, so looking for their short lane hero. They do have 6 seconds of extra time. I can solo casts too. I'm not saying it's the easiest or most fun thing to do, but I have a lot of experience doing it. Look at my YouTube channel, okay? There's like 250 casts of this just me, so yeah. Get at me. Anyway, Pharaoh, nice pick there actually, is going to be able to lock down these Hellborn heroes a little bit. And I'm going to take that back a little though, because yeah, Silhouette, Bubbles, and Magmas will all be able to get out of those memory walls relatively quickly, even if they don't pick a push book. And Bubbles and Magmas are both candidates to get a push book, Magmas perhaps a little bit more so, but it's also going to mean Pharaoh Kraken is push book worthy, so I'd like to see 2, maybe 3 tablets on this Hellborn side, and I wouldn't be surprised if they get at least that many. Master of Arms, the 4th pick, so that'll be their support option. A little curious with Engineer still on the board. I would have much preferred to see a Magmas mid with Engie, and then the Suicide Bubbles and Silhouette top. They still have Tempest on the board, and I don't know why they haven't picked that yet. I believe Epic Slacker is their jungle player. He also does play Ophelia, so obviously that's on the board. But if you can play Ophelia, you can play Tempest. And I don't know why they wouldn't pick that hero here. I don't know why they didn't pick it before. And just some strange stuff going on anyway. Anyway, the last pick for the Legion type is TDL, and that'll be in Probosc's hands as their new carry player. Wouldn't be surprised if he does very well with it, but instead it's going to be an Aluna. So they could have gone for the Tempest, which would have complemented the Magmas and Bubbles very, very nicely. It would have locked people down for Silhouette to just pound in right clicks, and it would have been sensible with their lineup, because they could have run Magmas mid and Bubbles Suicide with a dual lane top, having Master of Arms and Silhouette hanging out. But they instead choose to go for Aluna, who is an all-around terrible hero, and doesn't make a ton of sense for their draft. I'd like to be able to understand that decision, but I really, really don't. And I hate it, and I'm just basically waiting for it to bite them in the ass at this point. That's basically where I'm at, pretty much. Anyway, and there it is again. God, I gotta stop saying that. For now, though, we'll see what the lanes are. Wouldn't be surprised if Legion side go with something like Suicide Pharaoh, and that's exactly where he's headed, because Okami is their Suicide player. Labyrinth can take the solo mid. A very good Kraken player, so I expect a lot from him. And in the bottom lane, it's going to be TDL and Rhapsody, which should be quite strong up against a presumably Suicide Bubbles, especially because Magmas has gone for a Hatchet. So I'm looking at a 2-2-1 for Hellborn and a 1-1-2 for the Legion side, which means that every single lane will be solo versus duel. And I'm favoring Hellborn, obviously, in 2 of those 3 lanes, thanks to their dual lane advantage. On the other hand, they're going to have a jungle presence with Ophelia that the Hellborn will not. Stu saying, I said that everybody's lame, which is probably something I did say. And I qualify as part of everybody, you know. Just saying. Everybody, I am an everybody. So yes, I'm lame too. It's fine. Aluna is a walking global codex, how can you hate it? Well, it's a bad hero. That's how I can hate it. It has 2 abilities, one of which is not very good. By which I mean it has a stun and a power throw. The Aluna ultimate is kind of stupid, and the stun is not particularly great. Power throw is a very good ability, but the fact that the stun does no damage and is only 1 second at level 1 and costs how much mana? 100. So let's compare that to Rhapsody's stun, which costs 100 damage, and it does a 1 second stun, and it does 50 magic damage and 50 magic damage one more time. So it does 100 magic damage at level 1, and it stuns for 1.25 seconds, and it has the same mana cost. So, explain how that is not better. But anyway, actually a tri-lane here for the Hellborn side, which I did not see coming at all. And probably should have crossed my mind at least once. Instead, it did not. And this TDL gonna get shut down relatively early, I think. Now, TDL is one of the heroes that can go up against a lane like this and do mostly okay, thanks to her Taint Soul allowing her to snipe CS every so often, currently at 235 gold per minute. And Master of Arms actually pretty much in the wrong place, and he's going to get bloodlusted. Did I say it costs 100 damage? How do you know I didn't say mana? It's sometimes hard to decipher what I'm saying. Anyway. Magnus makes some harassment here as well. Staccato Sun's coming out from Rap, because she's got a ridiculously huge mana pool at level 1 and can do whatever she wants, for the most part. So this tri-lane not going super well for the Hellborn side, as they already give up the Bloodlust. Ophelia coming in with the Catman Champion, and they don't have a ward here, which is really proving problematic because, once again, stuns on Master. Here comes the Catman Champion Stomp, and the Staccato goes down. Looks like he will be okay, but Magnus getting blocked out a little bit as well. He's going to be in some trouble. Stun goes onto Ophelia, and that will be her cue to back off. Rhapsody is OP, guys. Sorry, Twitch chat is having fun. I do have the stats. If you're not looking at Twitch chat because this is a VOD for you or whatever, then I might say some random stuff sometimes because I don't have enough to talk about without interacting with Twitch chat. Anyway, top lane, so going up against this Pharaoh. Okami currently 245 gold per minute compared to Merkinian at 250 GPM. So Pharaoh actually having a really good time up here. And it feels like he shouldn't. Silhouette should absolutely crush this lane, and yet that's not happening. So Okami, props to him, and perhaps Merkinian should be doing a little bit better. Tree Drop can go through here. And he probably should have focused these trees because then he could have gotten the stun off, and instead he won't. Bottom lane, meanwhile, Ophelia gonna die, but they get the counter kill onto Master of Arms. Ends up being 1-for-1 so far. Magma's looking for some more onto Rhapsody, but that's gonna be it for him. And meantime, middle lane actually Kraken kills Bubbles, which is again a thing that should not happen. So Labyrinth, I've talked about before, he is a very good Kraken player. And not super surprised that he's winning this lane, but in general, Bubbles should beat Kraken solo mid. And instead, we've currently got Labyrinth at 370 GPM compared to Mania on the Bubbles at 194. And at this point, things generally coming up Dawn.
You're not going anywhere.
Kraken is available, but the regen rune on Kraken. Looking for something. Bubbles will port to the bottom lane, so we got 4 heroes down here. They might have seen that Bubbles port. I'm not sure if the Sport of Sight spots it. I don't think it does, but he could have walked forward. Anyway, Robust having 240 GPM, so he's not having the greatest of starts, but he's also not doing particularly badly. Only 270 GPM on this Magnus, who should have pretty much total free for him, and yet doesn't really. Also hasn't died. And Staccato's going on to the Magnus, and looks like there will be a finally counter onto this TDL, so it took them a few levels to get going, but the triple stun threat of the Hellborn lineup does finally score a kill in Probust on that TDL, and Rhapsody will use that time to grab some farm and levels for herself. A couple of CS there under the tower, obviously not the easiest thing to do. And you wrap with relatively low base damage and big fat tower shooting crap. 52 advantage so far here from the guys on Dawn, and they're up about 1k gold and 1.5k experience. You could always switch your view to see. Yes, I am the guy posting unnecessary stats while HoNcast matches are played. I live to annoy you. Mid lane once again, Mania gonna drop, and of course we can go backwards in the replay because it's just me, and release the Kraken right on top of his face. Easy kill. Once again, Labyrinth picking off that bubbles, currently at 380 gold per minute. And Hellborn tri-lane, meant to win, I would imagine, meant to shut down the CDL, and they're doing a pretty good job of that. I mean, CDL is not really taking off, and if she goes for the cleave build this game, it's going to take her a very long time to pick it up. So I would assume she's going to go for Imbecile Skull and try to get a little more active earlier on. The counter to that, though, is they don't have too many levels on any of these three heroes, and as long as Magnus gets a portal key relatively early on, I don't think he cares too much, but at 300 GPM, I think he expected to be doing a little bit better than he is. And that's not really going to go very well for them the rest of this game because Zoluna and Master of Arms are going to be under-leveled, they're going to be under-farmed, and the Legion side are going to have this Kraken who's doing very, very well, and really a Suicide Pharaoh who's doing quite well also. Plus, of course, the Ophelia, as opposed to the second support. On the other hand, Ophelia only 198 GPM. So it's not like she's crushing it either. Looking to set up a gank once again. Skeleton King and Minotaur, so the stun combination is going to be good. Anyway, jump on here onto Master of Arms once again, and he's barely, that was not even Master of Arms, still Luna, I can't even tell. Anyway, they've got the counter kill onto Rhapsody, but Pharaoh coming in with Wrath of the Pharaoh, gonna get a couple in his mummy walls as Magnus puts the steam bath down. It looks like they can't find him, and he's in fact gonna leave. In the meantime, they do finally catch Master of Arms. Magnus coming back in, and he will die to the charging strikes. Bubble's gonna be able to get away, and he will prevent further aggression. Silhouette continues to just free farm top lane. So the rotation from the Legion side was complete. They brought all 5 heroes, and they ended up doing better in that team fight, of course, than Hellborn did. Not that well, but in the meantime, Silhouette did free farm, and it's going to take a while for Pharaoh to get back to his lane. Kraken doesn't really care too much. He got a little bit involved, and that's good enough for him. He's just going to go back to continuing to dominate this Bubbles. More than double Bubbles' GPM, and he'll have a portal key relatively quickly. Already has Steam Boots, Bottle, and Mana Battery. Again, Oaf looking for something. Skeleton King locking down this Aluna, and she's gonna die. Magnus coming through the Lava Surge. I'm not sure if he actually hit anything with that. I don't think he did. There goes a Taint Soul onto him. He could be in some trouble meantime. Kraken trying to chase down the Silhouette, and I'm not really sure who's gonna die first. Ward of Rev goes down, but looks like Magnus will be okay. Release the Kraken right on top of Silhouette's head, and she's gonna fall. So just enough stun, and excellent release of Kraken placement. Obviously, Pharaoh helping out with the rocket a little bit as well. Ward of Rev just out of sight. And Ophelia going to get caught out as well. Power Throw connecting, and the stun from Master Arm is going to help Magnus clean up that kill. Now he's got the Steam Bath active, but once again the Rev Ward goes down. They're absolutely prepared for these Steam Baths. They've got Rev Wards all over the place. There was one over here, of course, and it is now expired, but Rhapsody making sure that Magnus can't use that to get away. Meanwhile, Luna getting caught by the Wrath of the Pharaoh, and that's going to be an easy kill as the Mummy Walls go up. Trying to do some damage, but the Power Throw wound up a little bit too long. Plain Silhouette running away from the Pharaoh, who has returned to his home lane after a long vacation away. I wonder if he feels safe now. And still going to port out to her illusion, and then walk right back to the lane, so I'm not really sure what the point of that was. Meanwhile, Ancient's being taken by Master Magnus and Aluna. So continuing to farm up here, looks like we're going to port, and Kraken looking for something. He does have his portal key, and he's going to show it, actually. That was curious. I don't know why they needed to just wait for the Wrath of the Pharaoh. Obviously, Luna or Silhouette does have Tree Grapple, but force her to use it with the Mummy Walls, and then jump on her with the Kraken ultimate. And very possibly you can catch her. Instead of support, and then return to the middle lane, so Kraken can go right back to farming. Sort of attempted to gank, wasn't really a real gank attempt. Bubbles is hasted, so I'm not feeling too scared about Kraken and his brand new portal key. He also does have 1 level intake cover, so can mitigate some damage right there. Torrent, obviously the easiest one of those things to dodge. And instead, no, he's going to get jumped, release the Kraken right on top of him, and he's going to die. So he should have been scared, clearly. As the Kraken combo does do a crap ton of damage. Maybe even a crack ton of damage. Oh god, that was horrible, I apologize. Probusk in the bottom lane up to 350 gold per minute. And he's now outfarming everybody in this Hellborn team. So despite how badly he got shut down early on, and I was dropping the Steam Bath while the Staccatos were still on him. I don't know why you would do that. And apparently he thought it was going to do something. And at the very least it did make him invis for a little bit of time, but if they wanted to go on him, it's not like they'll just stop it. Kraken gonna charge Luna back, that's an easy jump. And kill. TP coming through actually will be completed by Bubbles. So we currently have 4 versus 4 in the bottom lane. Kraken is mostly out of mana though, so not really looking for too much more. He does not have any left in this bottle. He'll be ported back to base by Ophelia, and presumably he will just teleport back to this lane. And they will continue this push. Oph is currently level 7, so she does have 3 creeps. Nice even game indeed. Dawn up 13-4 in hero kills, and the jump from them onto Dark Lady as they actually do take this to Magnus, or the Master of Arms stun, so we'll be able to finish off the kill with the Death Lotus, and Probusk dies. So new portal key on Magnus. He's only level 7, so he's suffering on levels pretty hard, but he does have the PK, and Lava Surge stun can come through on Wraps. He does barely just connect, and Staccato, 1 left there. She's still going to die. Looks like Vansport down, trying to live as long as possible. Ophelia in the background, looking to survive. Kraken charged through. Release of Kraken doesn't go out, doesn't even need it. Ophelia is somehow still alive, and the release of Kraken does catch a couple. Ophelia going to die to the last auto attack from Aluna, and in the meantime, the rest of the Hellborn side is getting cleaned up. Teletubbies losing 4 heroes right there and killing 3. Aluna going to run away, but not far enough, as Kraken just says, guess what? It's me. So, yeah. Yes, Gray is their jungler for the most part. Epic Slacker is their jungler. They may be playing with a ringer. I don't know, or 2 ringers, or I don't even know what the hell's going on, but Telechubbies not jungling Epic Slacker at this point. And yeah, I said it before, Labyrinth, good Kraken. And he is absolutely crushing this game. 9-0-3, 450 GPM. Basically crazy. And when you have a portal key this early on, obviously it's very easy to make work of it. And he is absolutely getting everything possible out of that item. Only 35 seconds on his release the Kraken, so Silhouette might actually be okay here, especially because she pops the illusion. So the Invis Kraken is not really going to pose too much of a threat off to the side. They're going to catch the illusion. And it's actually perhaps going to die here. So he's doing a fair bit of damage to it. Actually, she will port into it and use the tree grapple immediately. She doesn't realize that Kraken's here, and that's just awful. Kelpfield goes under 2. Lava Surge there as well. Rhapsody is hanging around. Going to use the ultimate, and yep, that'll save Pharaoh, at least for now, as Rhapsody is going to get stunned out. Fork Lightning actually not going to be quite enough, as they do kill Okami. So Rhapsody trying to save her buddy, but going to end up paying for that, and doesn't even get the job done. Nice counter there by the guys on Telechubbies, as they lose Silhouette, but have an appropriate response, and manage to pick off both Pharaoh and Rhapsody. But yes, Boar Beater, Kraken, Bubbles should not lose to Kraken that bad. I don't think that Bubbles should lose to Kraken at all, and I did point that out earlier on, and yet Bubbles did lose to Kraken pretty horribly, so Kraken doing a ton of work this game. Portal Key is up. Mystic Vestments, currently sitting on 1800 gold. Wouldn't be surprised to see that Soul's Bulwark come out next, and eventually go into the Dawnbringer, or not Dawnbringer, the Demonic Breastplate. Probusk going for the Nullstone. No, he is in fact going for the Cleave. And it's 17 minutes in, actually. He's not that far off of it, so he's going to have a relatively good timing on that Cleaver, despite how badly he was shut down. Obviously, Kraken creating a ton of space for him, and allowing him to free-farm this bottom lane. So, Probusk sort of the secret carry here. For now, Labyrinth and Okami are doing a ton of work, and Kraken Charge not going to connect right there, as after the side, actually, Ophelia will get caught by the Magmus, and I don't know how they saw that, really. They don't have any wards. But she could still be in a lot of trouble. She'll start fleshing out some creeps, and one more Lava Surge from Magmus will kill her. Wrath of Pharaoh not going to connect, as Magmus Lava Surged at just the right time. He will also Portal Key away, but now Labyrinth background, trying to get something. Going to charge Bubbles into the side, release the Kraken drop on his face. Not really necessary, especially with the charging strikes and Dark Blades from Dark Lady, but enough to finish off the kill, and that will be the end of that engagement, looks like. And the Legion side don't really want to pursue anymore, and Hellborn pretty much can't, with 4 heroes grouped up for the Legion team. But the way that things are going for the Legion right now, it's basically Labyrinth is carrying them, and will continue to do so for at least the next 20 minutes or so, assuming that they don't CC this game before that. But Probusk now has his Cleave. So this is not a situation where they have to win now. Silhouette's getting shut down pretty effectively, only at 290 gold per minute. And Probusk is going to start to really take off in this game. She doesn't even have any part of her Nullstone on McKinnon, so things aren't going to end particularly well for him if he does not manage to figure out a way to get that GPM up, especially considering TDL is going to start taking off. And Hellborn definitely in a very bad position right now. Down 10 hero kills, down 10k gold, and 10.5k experience. And of course with that extremely dangerous Kraken seemingly everywhere at once. While Probusk is doing what he should. He's moving to places where he can take good farm, and will in fact go take the double stacked Ancients right now. He's getting involved in kills when he needs to be, or when it's convenient, when it's nearby, and doesn't have to go too far out of his way. But for the most part, he's saying, look, you know, the rest of my team is doing a pretty darn good job dealing with this. So Luna get caught by the Wisdom Kraken once again. We'll pop the Mana Battery. And in fact, they might be able to turn this around. Power Throw goes through. They do manage to kill Aluna, and Rhapsody with the ultimate. Gonna let Kraken get the hell on out of here. Puts the dust down. Looks like Master Arm's gonna be in a lot of trouble. Last couple auto attacks will finish him off. Puzzle Box from Pharaoh is going to do some damage to the Bubbles. And it looks like Kraken getting ported back will be fine, and our tower is denied in the top lane by Probusk. Continues to increase his GPM, now up to 400 gold per minute, and going to overtake Kraken relatively quickly. Legion side now pushing this tier 1 tower, and that's not going to last very long. Iceland Go getting the last hit. I haven't talked about him too much, but he's had a decent game, 254 gold per minute, and 3, 4, and 7. Been relatively active on this Ophelia. Probusk stealing enemy woods. Is he going to run to the courier? Yeah, he will. Oh, that's their Legion courier. What am I, drunk? Anyway, Iceland Gogo, known as a good Ophelia player, perhaps not having his best game, as his farm early on was pretty lacking. But he did what he needed to do because they needed him to be active against that tri-lane so the TDL wasn't constantly shut down. Obviously, instrumental in getting the Bloodlust kill for the Legion side. And his continued presence definitely made it a little bit safer for the Legion team to be in that bottom lane. Otherwise, Hellborn would have gone on and been aggressive a lot more, which would have been bad for TDL and was really their plan the whole time, was to get a little bit more aggressive. But in the meantime, Legion side grouping up to push this tier 1 top, and that will be the last tier 1 tower that they have to kill. Meanwhile, Hellborn are counter pushing the middle lane, and they'll be getting this tier 1 in mid. Push book picked up on Magnus. Love that item, especially in this game. So like I said, there's like
a Legion tower.
2, at least 3 push books in this game. Would not surprise me. I wouldn't be shocked to see Bubbles get one after his portal key. And I wouldn't be surprised to see a second support go for one. Looks like Luna is in fact building that item, as he has a major totem. She has a major totem. Silhouette, in the meantime, going for the Quick Blade. So gets them with a Teacher for a little bit of mana, and not in fact can go for the Nullstone, presumably because there is a Taint Soul on the Legion team. So a few pretty decent ways to counter between that. The Torrent, a couple of abilities from Ophelia, as well as the Staccato from Rhapsody. Not really feeling like Nullstone is the proper item. I disagree with that pretty heavily. Taint Soul is a good way to get that off, but that assumes that Probusk is going to use that ability on you all the time in team fights, and if he doesn't, then you want to stop the slows, you want to stop the stuns, you want to stop the nicks. Nullstone is just so damn good on Silhouette. And obviously it's a farming item as well. If she wants to keep her GPM up and contest this Dark Lady for farm, then she's going to need something to help her do that, and Geometer's Bane will help, but it's not going to come out early enough to really make an impact in the next 10 minutes or so. Or even sooner than that, or later than that. Anyway, middle lane, they're going to jump Silhouette, and they will kill her. So despite Magnus trying to save her, that's not going to happen. Pharaoh now trying to do something in the background. Bubbles, and Aluna going to counter onto Ophelia, who pops the Norse Blessing to save herself. And now Magnus in a lot of trouble as the Cover of Darkness goes on to a couple. Bubbles running away. Looks like he will be alright, and Aluna pretty low, but pretty far gone. Bubbles just going to TP on out. And it looks like Kongor is going to be the focus for the guys on Dawn. Probusk here on the TDL, of course, and Token will be going to him. Pharaoh Hellfire doing a lot to stop Kongor's auto attacks, and this will be a pretty easy kill for the guys from the Legion team, as they've basically eliminated the chance of Hellborn initiation without Magnus. I mean, Bubbles can jump, but he's not going to do nearly enough damage to really do much of anything. Probusk dropping his Logger's Hatchet, picking up the Token, also has finished his Shrunken Head. So a lot of the stuns and damage from the Hellborn side will actually be mitigated now, and its Silhouette does not really have a bunch of right-click auto-attack damage. I cannot imagine Rhapsody, or not Rhapsody, but I cannot imagine Dark Lady dying in these fights. She's got a Rhapsody behind her, she's got a Ophelia behind her, and she's got Charging Strikes, and she's got a Shrunken Head. Like, she's never gonna die. And if she does, she's got a Token. So Probusk is, for all intents and purposes, invincible here. Aluna gonna get caught out by the Skeleton Kings, and she's dead. Eruption coming through, actually doing a fair bit, and she gets a red snipe out, but still gonna kill Rhapsody first. Actually, Token on Probusk dies, and Okami also gonna fall. So things going very well for the Hellborn side off the bat. But now TDL has a Shrunken Head up and is looking to do some damage. Bubbles gonna eat the release of Kraken, but managed to get Shell Surf away, Tree Grapple away, and Iceland Goko on the Hellborn on the Ophelia dies as well. They do take the tier 2 tower, but that's a great fight for the Hellborn team, as Bubbles got away just barely with the Shell Surf, so Silhouette got away just barely with her Tree Grapple, and in fact they lose nobody. I don't know how that happened. They did not kill Dark Lady, so at least I was right about that, but that was a bit of a sloppy fight there from Dawn, and I think that gave some new life to Telechubbies, because that's pretty much as well as that could possibly have gone. Who exactly got the kills there. 2 for Silhouette and 1 for Magnus. So yeah, in terms of kill distribution, that's exactly what you want to have happen pretty much, as Magnus is your number 2 hero at this point, and Silhouette obviously your 1, so as much GPM on her as you can possibly get is what you want. Bubbles in fact going to forego the portal key entirely, and looks like he'll be picking up another push book, so Aluna finishes her push book. Magnus already has had his for a long time, and I would imagine Bubbles will be finishing a push book in about 15 gold. Not 15 gold, 100 gold. Kraken has a regen room, but everybody's walking past the word of sight here, so they know exactly what's happening. Legion side perhaps going to start pushing again, as all their ultimates are off cooldown, and they know that they're pretty damn far up. So things didn't go great for them last fight, but they have to be aware that things can go much, much better for them, and they should expect that to happen, as opposed to what actually did happen in that last engagement. So I like this presence of mind, knowing, look, we've got a lead. Okay, yeah, that last fight was bad. We weren't really focusing one target. We were kind of spread out all over the place, and they got away with very low health several times. But that's not going to happen every single time. We have this advantage. We're all very strong right now. All of our ultimates are up, and we should press our lead while we have it. Now, notable, there is no token on TDL. She did pick up Abyssal Skull, though. So, it's going to be a little bit easier to kill this time, in that when she dies, she will die. It's always advantageous when you're trying to kill a hero.
The Legion have destroyed a Hellborn tower.
But tier 2 taken there with really no contest from the Hellborn team. And Congo should be back up relatively quickly, I think. I don't remember exactly when they killed it, but it was a little while ago. TL stealing Ancients there, and we'll go ahead top to farm. Robust up to 520 gold per minute, so no huge surprise there. And Silhouette still at that 330, 340 gold per minute range. It's just, that's what's been happening this whole game. Is Sil's just been thoroughly mediocre on farm, and obviously she's going to need to step that up. Like, it'd be one thing if Bubbles and Magnus were farming out of their minds, but Magnus is farming well, or decently, I guess, not even that well, and Bubbles is getting shut down. I mean, he's got 200 gold per minute. This is not really what you expect from a mid Bubbles. If it was a suicide Bubbles, it'd be a different thing. But this was an aggressive tri-lane. They had mid Bubbles versus Kraken. Bubbles should have won that lane, and Silhouette should have crushed Pharaoh in the top lane and did not. In fact, Okami farming nearly as well as she is. The extra tower is obviously helping with that, but I mean, Silhouette didn't do all that well in lane either, so it's not like it's just the towers.
The Hellborn have destroyed a
Meantime,
Legion
they do
tower.
trade towers. Legion side taking a tier 1 for their tier 2 for Legion in exchange for tier 1 on bottom. And they're going to start pushing the base now because why not? Our whole team is grouped up here. And this Ballista going to do a fair bit of damage to the tower. Creep's also helping out a little bit. And it looks like they're going to back up, instead choosing to roam through the Legion wood, the Hellborn woods, and not really interested in taking the uphill fight, I guess, right now, which is again fine. I mean, you've got your lead. You're going to continue to outfarm your opponents because you have way more map control. I mean, you look at the wards here from Yugobic on that Rhapsody. What am I talking about? These Hellborn wards. There's the one from Rhapsody, aggressive. Another one in middle, also very aggressive. Another one at the bottom room, controlling the river. So, oh, word of revelation here. Not a word sight. Anyway. Buzzwalk's Wizard is doing a bunch of damage to Luna. This one will be countered, so good warding there from the Hellborn team. And they do have good wards as well in the Hellborn. And they're generally more defensive, which is what they need to do at this point. Protect their jungle, see what they can get on Silhouette. But Legion side basically thinking, yeah, I mean, we can get aggressive on the map, and we don't need to be too concerned about our own woods because they really can't jump us. It's not like they have an Amphora. Even if they could get in deep, we could probably turn this around. You look at the Legion side's initiation potential. Kraken and Pharaoh, obviously. Ridiculously long-range initiation. And TDL with Trojan Trace could get in there as well. Invis Pharaoh going to spot out a few heroes here. And they might have noticed that because they did stutter step a little bit. Ancients were also stolen once again. Ophelia picking up a barrier idol. And that's going to help against the copious amounts of magic damage that are coming out from the Hellborn team. Obviously, Magnus Eruption, Bubbles, various crap. Luna Power Throw, Master of Arms stuff. Right now, their team is very magic damage focused, and it will continue to remain that way as long as Silhouette does not take off. And Farm has the Geometer's Bane now along with the Energizer, but still just not hitting all that hard. I mean, I can click her. There we go, 136 damage, and that's on Agi Shreds. She's got some good attack speed, obviously. Relentless Salvo going to help her with her right clicks, but Let's look at TDL. 220 to 222 damage. It's different. And looks like she is working on a Dawnbringer of her own. I would assume that's what that is. Could certainly be the Geometer's Bane if they want to do something like break things, I guess. I don't think that... Does that break the kill field? I don't know. Maybe. But no, it will be the Dawnbringer, which is pretty much what I expected. And Probosk feeling confident here. He does not want to save for buyback. He doesn't need to, by any means, but... Hey, you could definitely go the conservative route and choose to do that. You decide once again grouping up as 5, roam through the Hellborn Woods, which they are well aware of thanks to these wards. And Hellborn are sort of following them through it. I don't think they really want to take a team fight right here where they don't have the uphill advantage. So I'm not sure what their plan is quite yet, because it looks like the Legion side are going to continue this top push from before, and obviously the top tower below half health, so wouldn't be surprising if they managed to kill it. And Kongor's got to be back up soon. Now this Wardus side probably blocking the Kongor spawn. That's not a thing that can happen, in case you don't know. Although it would be pretty damn broken if it could. Burial getting popped, eating a bunch of damage, and DD Rune is on TDL, so she's going to be crushing this tower.
The Legion have destroyed a
There's that.
Hellborn
Here go the
tower.
Rax, Puzzle Box minions in the front, preventing a lot of stuff from happening. So, goodbye Rax. Here comes the Eruption Charge, but Shrunken Head going off right immediately in the background. Magnus will jump on top of them, but that's not going to end very well. Raise the Kraken catches pretty much just the Silhouette Fake, and Magnus will die over there along with Splock on the Aluna, who dropped first, of course. That's the Silhouette Fake once again, as the real one is in the background. Master of Realms Carl is on top of her, so they know actually who's real and who's not, but two nice easy kills there for the Legion side. Magnus buying back, looking for some more aggression, trying to back them off a little bit, but again, they don't care. In the background, Kraken charge onto Master of Realms, and he will fall. Once again, TDL jumping through, and they're calling GG's here, as TDL is just basically wrecking people. Actually, she gets ported back, so dies, no, sorry, gets the kill just before she goes back through, and Dawn is going to take game 1, so not a huge surprise that that happens. It's kind of surprising, really, that it took as long as it did, but really just a dominant performance from them. Telechubbies, I think they had a decent enough idea with the tri-lane against the TDL. They just didn't execute it very well. And in the middle lane, Bubbles lost very, very hard to that Kraken. So that's the wrong stat screen because this was an older match. But anyway, I'll do it there for game 1, and we will move on to game 2.